Hey people, CzarThwomp here, and welcome to the 72nd and final episode of the Greatest Attorney 2 Resolve. Last time, we brought all of Strongheart's crimes to light, and as such, his position was revoked from him, and he has been arrested by the Queen. And then he has breakdown, and now we're going to see the final parts of the game. We're going to see things close out. When those words came out of Asogi's mouth, it deranged me completely. I knew I must do anything and everything in my power to contain the situation. But I couldn't find the damn documents. I searched the cell, but it wasn't there. Which precipitated the jailbreak plot, I presume. What do you mean? The need to obtain that will was all-consuming. I was sure that if I facilitated Asogi's escape, he would emerge with the will somewhere on his person. But despite searching his limp body in the cemetery that night, it still eluded me. It never even crossed my mind that it was concealed in the sword's hilt.
What pains me now is that my life is a lie! My books are worthless now! Is that my brother left this world without a word to me?
I'm sorry, Lord Van Zieks. In point of fact, I think perhaps that isn't the case. Sorry?
How can that be?
There is more to his last will and testament.
What?
As I confront the prospect of my demise, I feel bitter regret for my younger brother. He doesn't even know that I'm being held hostage in my office, and that Sogi's just standing over me, looking at me with this away look. Seriously, I just can't get over how basically Genshin's just giving Clint this look of, I'm mad at you, I'm disappointed. Like, now Clint, what? Have you thought about what you did wrong? Go in the corner, Clint. 5 minutes in the corner, you killed 5 guys. A minute in the corner for each guy, for each murder victim. Barok, you have always looked up to me, and now you follow my footsteps to become a prosecutor, and to wear a mullet. It is my fervent wish that my unspeakable deed should not hinder your advancement. I ask not for understanding, for none can understand my depravity. I ask only for forgiveness. Asogi is a fine detective and a hunter worthy of respect. He has agreed to honor my final 2 wishes. The first is that this document survives. The second, I cannot commit to paper. I have confessed my sins to my wife. May she find resolution in my death. With my eternal gratitude to my Japanese friend, I rest my quill. Clint Van Zieks.
Clint.
Male Strongheart, you colluded with Shishiro Jigoku in a criminal plot so immense it spanned the oceans, and you cold-heartedly murdered all those who knew the truth about what happened 10 years ago. But why did you say about that now, a whole decade later? To ascend to the very peak. These last 10 years made me realize, being the Lord Chief Justice wasn't enough. Short of becoming Her Majesty's Attorney General, I could have no real power to affect the changes needed in this country. And for that promotion, I need to ensure no remnants of the past remained. How could you? By enacting a series of murder plots. You were here the entire trial, weren't you? I like everything to run smoothly, in the exact manner that I prescribe, like a well-oiled machine. And I was just a step away, if it wasn't for you meddling attorneys.
And for your ambition to succeed. Did you even bother to count the number of brilliant people you had killed?
let's see. We had Wilson. We had Wilson. We had Genshin. We also had Tobias Gregson. So I'm saying around 2-3. Mr. Reaper! Are you not forgetting something?
Such as?
You very much adopted your usual prosecutor-like demeanor in the proceedings now. And also, you basically should be insulted that he didn't count you on the list. Apparently, you weren't more than enough to kill. But as the reality of the situation is that you are the defendant in this trial. However, the presiding judge would appear to have fallen from the bench, as it were. May I suggest, therefore, that we entrust the final adjudication to an old friend?
You don't know what happened. He locked me in the broom closet. He wouldn't let me get out my chair. My lord! As a member of the judiciary, I have been following the proceedings from the gallery. And I must say, I shan't ever forget the extraordinary battle between good and evil that I witnessed here today. I was also chanting, strong heart, strong heart, strong heart. The darkness that has blighted justice in our land these past 10 years has been dispelled, thanks in no small part to the efforts of a bright young star from the east. Defense Counsel Naruto.
Yes, my lord?
On behalf of everyone here present in the Old Bailey, I give you my heartfelt thanks.
You're too kind, my lord.
The first time I faced you in court, just under a year ago now, I hated you. I had the faintest of intimations that if a British justice so warped and twisted over its long history was finally to know change, this might just be the man to do it, while driving me slowly to the brink of insanity.
What?
But at the time, I wouldn't allow myself to acknowledge the possibility. I couldn't overcome my hatred of the Japanese after the circumstances of my brother's death. Mr. Naruto, allow me to apologize for countless discourtesies on my part. You are a lawyer of boundless talent.
Oh, Lord Van Zieks! When I first arrived in Great Britain, I was literally a nobody, certainly not a lawyer. The truth is, my fortunes have entirely been made by the miraculous people I've met. My best friend, Kazuma Soki, who led me here to Britain in the first place. My loyal and ever-patient judicial assistant, Miss Susato, who helped me study to become a lawyer. The brilliant Lord Van Zieks, who never failed to challenge his Nipponese rival, and also sent several mobs over the last few months to throw rocks at my house.
Don't forget the Molotov cocktails. Those were very hard to make, but we may do.
And not to mention, the exceptional master of logic and reasoning, who showed me the true art of deduction, Mr. Sholmes. And last but not least, Iris, who controlled the police in my favor. Saving the best for last, Mr. Naruto, was a relief. I'm well aware that without all these people's help and support, I wouldn't be where I am today. The truth is a guiding light that always leads to happiness. I've lived by that principle for a long time now, but actually it's not true. The truth can also cause great pain, sometimes even leave people on the brink of despair. And for that reason, there are those who feel the need to hide the truth, who do it instinctively even. But as soon as we allow our eyes to settle on something other than the truth, the darkness takes hold, and from there it grows until eventually it makes us blind to the guiding light of the truth altogether. So that's why it's my belief that we must all resolve to never to avert our eyes from what's just and true. So that we can continue to walk the straight and narrow path ahead. Well, I must excuse myself now. But before I go, Mr. Naruto, let me compliment you on your grand opus. What? Without your beautifully composed case against Lord Shongot, Her Majesty would have been unable to act. Thanks to you and your fellows, the haunting undertones corrupting Britain's justice system have been silenced. Thank you very much. So, until our paths cross again somewhere.
Well then, it would appear that this long trial has finally come to an end. My apologies for any anxiety caused, my lord. I'm quite sure we shall meet again here in the courtroom before long, Prosecutor Barok van Zieks. In conclusion of these proceedings, I hereby declare the defendant Barok van Zieks That is all. Court is adjourned.
Fourth of November, 4:21 p.m. The Old Bailey, Defendant's Antechamber. It really is all over. But did I sacrifice too much? Mr. Naruto! I really must congratulate you. It was truly splendid. It was a truly splendid performance. Honestly, I couldn't be happier for you. Oh, thank you very much. But I really couldn't have done without you at my side. Through it all, Miss Susato. Oh. Your kind words mean so much to me.
It really was a very splendid show, that, Naruto. I have thought you'd be smiling from ear to ear, but you look rather glum.
Well, of course I'm delighted about the verdict. But in exposing the truth, I'm afraid I've caused my client a great deal of pain. I'm really not sure that's what a lawyer ought to be doing. Oh well, in that case, I'm quite sure that when you see Lord Van Zieks' smiling face, everything will seem much better.
I never smile!
Miss Susato? Everything seems worse. He has a face like thunder.
And I have fists like lightning!
Oh dear, I really shouldn't have presumed.
Mr. Naruto!
Yes?
Almost a year it's been now, since I first encountered you here in this very courthouse. For you have risen to the level of excellence you demonstrate today. Well, it's quite remarkable.
But I exposed the most unpalatable truth you could ever have imagined in court today. I feel as though I've robbed you of something you held so dear.
What was it he said? To fight those who dwell in the darkness requires at least some of us to occupy the darkness ourselves. But that was just the feeble excuse of a coward. Only those with a steadfast eye for the truth have what it takes to fight the dark forces of crime. You have made fine work establishing that fact in court today.
Oh. Well, thank you. What magnanimous words. I'm quite sure that Kazuma-sama would have a smile on his face at this very moment if he were here. Kazuma. Mr. Sato? There's another face like thunder here. And feet like lightning! Oh my, he really was here. Lord Van Zieks. Allow me to congratulate you on your acquittal.
Oh, don't you be calling that crap on me now, Asogi. Oh, you're now being, mister, I'm so sorry, Lord Van Zieks. You're good job, the acquittal. Meanwhile, you have tried to cage me like an animal. Oh, he's the Reaper, he killed everyone, he's a monster. Well, now I'll be a monster to you. You will have to carry all of the wine barrels. I will show you no mercy. Congratulate me or curse me. You failed to bring down the Reaper.
I owe you an apology.
Damn straight you do. No, it is I who shall apologize. Your father Genshin. If I had been stronger, then perhaps I made an unforgivable error of judgment. I can offer no excuse.
And I can offer no forgiveness. That said, I suppose you fought for justice and the truth. For that, at least, I can't withhold respect.
Your words mean more to me than you could know. I will hold them dear.
Kazuma-sama. I must say, there's one thing that's still bothering me. What's that? The will that Lord Clint Van Zieks wrote before his duel with my father. Asogi is a fine detective and a hunter worthy of respect. He has agreed to honor my final 2 wishes. The first is that this document survives. The second, I cannot commit to paper. I have confessed my sins to my wife. May she find resolution in my death. And forgive the fact that I had performed dark rituals while she was pregnant. I tried to call upon the forces of darkness to take down crime, and it kind of backfired. I kind of think that the child may be a demon, who it will be set on destroying us all. With my eternal gratitude to my Japanese friend, I rest my quill. Clint Van Zieks. What can the second of his final wishes have been?
That your father agreed to honor, you mean? I think perhaps I might be able to shed some light on that.
What? Father!
It was 10 years ago, as you know, the day before the execution was scheduled. I went to the prison to say my farewells to Genshin. Why aren't you putting up more of a fight, Genshin? I mean, we could break you out of this cell. I mean, Shishiro, he's already got the hacksaw and the hammer. If you'd only agree to it, Shishiro and I would gladly position the government.
We've been through this already. You don't need to worry about me. Anyways, Yujin, I have a favor to ask of you. Something of great importance.
You're one of my greatest friends, Genshin. Whatever it is, consider it done.
I'm going to tell you an address. I need you to go there at once, in secret, and tell no one. You should find a lady of the gentry in hiding there.
A lady of the gentry?
She's not in a good way, and she's with child. The birth is imminent. As a medical man, I'd like you to attend to her. Please, you're her only hope. Help her, Obi-Wan Kenobi.
By any chance, is the child yours, Genshin?
Don't be daft. Yeah, that would be all. Yeah, that's all Barok van Zieks would need to know.
Must you take more from me, Genshin?
It's a favor that was asked of me by a man I knew, as his dying wish.
My goodness.
I swore to the man that I would help, that I would do whatever I could for his wife and his unborn child, after he was done with his time out in the corner. But if something should happen to me, I need to ask you that same favor. You're the only person I know that I can truly rely on.
What'd you say? If something should happen to you, tomorrow night you're going to be.
You never know, though, do you? What life will bring.
All right then, tell me the address. I'll head there at once with Shishiro and.
No, not with him.
Pardon?
This is a favor I'm asking of you, and only you, Yujin.
Right, I see. Very well then. That very night, I got a train from Paddington to Dartmoor in Devon. I found the old house, in the middle of nowhere it was. An old hunting hound lay asleep on the grounds. The poor woman was on the floor at the back of a darkened room. She was in mortal danger. I broke her wires to precipitate the labor before she weakened further, but it was a torturous birth. The child was disturbing. The child had horns and pink hair. I did everything humanly possible for her and her child. And in that end, I was lucky enough to welcome a new life into the world, and then proceeded to try to bite my hand off. But tragically, my efforts to save the mother's life were in vain. I heard the healthy newborn girl in my newborn girl in my arms and wept for longer than I cared to remember. And the girl proceeded to lick my tears. It was creepy. Eventually, in something of a daze, I looked around the room. There was precious little in it, but an old traveling trunk caught my eye. It had clearly been well looked after over the years. Made of top quality leather with fine stitching. I said, it's mine now. But it was when I saw the emblem on the side of it that everything dropped into place. B for Baskersville.
Baskerville?
You mean the woman was the wife of Lord Clint Van Zieks? That's right. The newborn was his daughter. But that makes no sense! Why on earth wouldn't Clint have entrusted the child to me, to my care in the case? Or at least tell me he was at, or at least tell me, oh hey, my wife is pregnant! What the heck, Clint? Oh, you're willing to tell Genshin, but no, your brother, nothing! I even took the mullet after you! I was completely unaware that you had a daughter!
I suppose he didn't really have any choice.
What?
Well, your brother said he confessed everything to his wife, so she must have been beside herself with worry for her child. If the true identity of the professor were ever to be made public, the girl would be forever branded as the daughter of the infamous mass murderer. So the only solution was to distance the young girl from the Van Zieks family as much as possible.
I don't believe it. I imagine that in his final hour, Lord Clint Van Zieks made the obvious choice. He would have thought to himself, this Japanese man here is someone I can trust. I honored my promise to Genshin, of course. However, only a month later, I was summoned back to Japan, and without disclosing the parentage of the child, I couldn't obtain permission to take her with me.
Oh, how awful!
I was completely at a loss. In the end, I had to ask my great friend. I asked him if he would be a father to her and bring her up in a way that would endanger us all.
That being Mr. Sholmes, I presume.
Yes. He took one look into my eyes and agreed to it on the spot.
Mr. Sholmes, he has a heart of gold. And then, meanwhile, Sherlock was like, I can get tax deductions on this. This child will work for me. She will make the finest knockoff wallets in the capital.
Really, all it can be said that I did for the child was to give her a name.
Oh?
When I come to Britain, I was trying to escape from the grief of losing my darling wife. So it was her name that I gave the little girl.
Your wife's name, Professor Mikatoba? In other words, the name of my mother. Ayami Mikatoba. Oh!
That's right, Ayami. Or in English, Iris.
Of course, basically, Iris is basically... Yes, of course, Iris would have to be the daughter of a mass murderer. It's in the blood. This is why Iris has a penchant for blood. I had no idea. Ouch! Mr. Naruto! Mr. Naruto, what's wrong? This little pony just pinched me on the behind through my traveler's pocket. Hard. I get better. Can you hear me? How do you like it? How do you like it, Mr. Naruto? How you like it? Mr. Sholmes, is that you? How you like it? Ouch! Yes, we can hear you. You see what excessive talking can do? Let that be a lesson to you. Mr. Sholmes, we weren't able to thank you properly before, but you were simply marvelous. I hit my headphones. Your checkmate move was a stroke of genius. Indeed it was, wasn't it? I surprised myself, I feel. It had become apparent to me that to stop Lord Chief injustice would require such measures. No, Cece! Oh, Iris.
Oh, crap, she's gonna kill us all now.
Oh, I'm so pleased. What a wonderful outcome. Her Majesty, Queen Vicky said she thought my special blend was delicious, and now she's dead.
Oh, dear God.
And then Van Zieks,
I am leaving the country. I'm getting out of here. Load the trunk, my lad friend. Hurry, we have to get out of here.
right behind you, Lord Van Zieks. Oh, I'm sure she did. After all, no one brews a more delicious tea than you do, Iris.
Let's have a party to celebrate. And Mr. Reaper, you must simply come too.
Oh God! Now I'm in a payroll. I'm afraid I couldn't.
The Reaper of the Bailey, flustered by a 10-year-old girl. Again, hey, don't blame Barok. He knows what he's up against. This is the girl that turned Gregson into her bee.
No, really, oh poo.
And now my house.
And then Van Zieks returns home that night and he finds his house on fire.
But I give you my word that I shall present myself at your residence in the near future to express my gratitude.
Oh, how lovely. You promise now, I won't let you forget. Bye for now, then.
All right, Iris, thank you for all your help earlier.
Oh, that was nothing. Just come back home soon.
Ouch! One vault bench goodbye, was it? Well, I think I ought to be leaving. Lord Van Zieks, would you care to accompany me?
I will prosecute you to the full extent of my power. Let's see how you like it. Certainly. Mr. Naruto, allow me once again to express my deep gratitude to you. I believe you saved my life.
Wait, Lord Van Zieks! Sorry.
Yes?
What are you intending to do now?
Well, clearly I shall have to resign from the prosecutor's office.
Oh, no.
I intend to publicize the full truth about the Professor case. Once that's done, the Van Zieks family will be ostracized completely from London society.
Surely not.
So as soon as I am free from my employment, I shall leave the capital.
Oh, I see. Don't be a fool. Are those the actions of a man who once feared as the almighty Bailey of the Reaper of the Bailey?
I beg your pardon?
For the past 10 years, you've endured the pseudonym and been cast as one of the dark forces yourself. Now that you've finally been freed of that dispute, your battle is just beginning. Surely.
Well, I certainly never expected to hear those words from your lips.
I waited a very long time to come to London. Now I'm properly here. I intend to learn all that I can. Anyways, goodbye for now, Ryuunosuke Naruto. Kazuma Soki. It seems as though he's really matured suddenly.
He's not the only one who's matured, Mr. Naruto. Well, I think we should make our way back to Baker Street. We must help Iris with tonight's dinner.
We must, or she will break our kneecaps. She has the crowbar at the ready. It was then that I came to an important decision about my future. Sherlock's not gonna get the pheasant, isn't he? No, the pheasant's gonna be saved for Van Zieks. Since basically, no, it's just gonna be an offering to Clint. It's not even gonna be eaten by anyone. It's just gonna be on the table. I'm home. Ah! Now you're dead. Bad time you got here. Where have you been? We've been waiting for ages, Odo. What are you doing with that colorful piece of history? It's a party, innit? It's gotta go off with a bang. I mean, fireworks, ideally. But when you ain't got fire, smoke's the next best thing, ain't it? There's a girl on Fresno Street who could help you with that, I think. Right. I'll remember that. You don't have to reload that thing every time I speak. Okay, I don't know who's speaking. I assure you, it would defy your expectations. Take down every detail now, Mikatoba.
No!
Ah, the world-famous great detective. Regaling his partner with tales of his adventure. A sight to behold. What'd you get as a guest? Where do you suppose the fiendish runaway had concealed himself? What'd you believe? Inside the trunk I found abandoned in his cabin.
Wait, why am I not part of the story? I would believe it, yes.
I say, Mikatoba, I detect not a hint of surprise.
I was there. I wonder why that is. Could it be that I was there? Maybe because I was there to see as well, Sholmes.
You don't count! What, you were? Then why the deuce did you say so before? Not quite the sight I was expecting to behold, but still. It's hard to not feel privileged to see it. Hello, Mr. Sholmes, Professor Mikatoba. I'm finally back from the Bailey. I know the moment grew soon. A feast prepared by Iris and Miss Susato awaits.
I must say, I haven't seen Susato looking so happy in a very long time.
Ah, Ryuno, there you are.
Dinner is on the table, everyone. Please do come and take a seat. Time to fill me boots. And then Sherlock just swipes the entire pheasant. It's my pheasant now. I get to forgive the apology pheasant.
Hamsy, it's all for you.
Shut it, Iris. It's mine. Sherlock's just pushing Iris back. He just pushes her into the fire. And she's just completely resistant to it. Goodness, is that really true, Gina? Yup. I'm losing me compass club and going back to what I know best. It's a diver's life for me.
You're really leaving the police force, but why, Ginny?
Well, the boss ain't around no more, so...
Oh.
And anyways, no matter how hard I try, the Reaper ain't never gonna accept a diver turned dick, is he?
Well, people can change, you know?
Ah, yes, that reminds me. We have to find a new officer to extort. I rather thoughtfully offered to relieve the bailiff of this now defunct piece of evidence. Eh? It's the inspector's pocket watch, and the crown has been reattached.
That watch was his pride and joy, a symbol of his great achievements at Scotland Yard. For 10 years without fail, it measured every second of the man's remarkable career.
But now it's stopped.
Someone needs to keep the memory of Inspector Gregson's career alive. Someone needs to be extorted by Iris. By taking on the great responsibility of wanting that watch every single day again. Yes, someone with an equally fierce detective spirit. It's gonna be me. There ain't no one else. Quite right. I mean, after all, the boss he was my boss.
Yes, Ginny, he was, and now I'm your boss.
Oh yeah, and I made you a promise and all, didn't I, Iris? That I'd become a proper detective one day and track down your old man. Oh. Alright then, it's decided. I'll do it. And I swear, I'll find your dad and bring him in kicking and screaming. Yes, dig up Clint Van Zieks from the ground. Yeah, basically, Gina goes into the cemetery. She digs up Clint.
What are you doing with Clint? Put him down!
Put him down! No, I'm bringing Iris, her father.
Put him in the ground. He is deceased. Come on, Gina, in the ground, in the ground. Your pants cut. In the ground with him. Go. No.
I'm not sure that would be entirely appropriate. Yes, I think, Gina, it might be best to, well...
I think I'd like to forget that promise, Ginny. Eh?
Iris.
Well, obviously I've always wondered about who my real daddy is. Of course I have. I want to know where I come from. I thought it might tell me something about myself. But I caused such a lot of trouble trying to find out for so many people. Holly, Ryuno, Professor Mickey.
Oh no, not at all, my dear. Really, you owe no apology to anyone.
Well, anyways, I decided to give it up on it because I finally realized my daddy is the greatest in the world. I don't think it matters what his name is or where he's from. Don't you agree? Hurley?
With every word, Iris.
And now to find a new mommy.
Yeah, now Iris takes on the basically, and then Iris, she makes her duty to find Sherlock a wife, to basically just in order to help keep Sherlock in line for when she moves out, because Iris has to move out one of these days, and she just can't leave Sherlock alone. Second she leaves Sherlock alone, Iris, I got my shoe stuck in the drawer again.
Thank you, Hurley. Thank you, Daddy.
I think, Mikatoba.
Yes, Jones?
I am going to be inheriting a butt ton of money. Yeah, and then Sherlock proceeds to take this opportunity to have Iris inherit all the Baskerville fortune, as well as inherit the Van Zieks fortune as well. Basically, take all of their money, take all of their fortune, and then he blows it on soap, commemorative candles, and also stereoscopes. Oh, sorry. For 6 years, you and I solved many a mystery together. And during that time, I remember countless expressions of gratitude for our good services. But a moment ago, I heard that most pleasing expression of gratitude of them all. And I should never have experienced it. Were it not for you.
You old softy, Sholmes. Well, I must confess, it's a way off my mind to hear you say it.
Well then, I think this calls for a lengthy violin recital, wouldn't you say?
Oh well, the food would go cold, that's the only problem. Maybe next week, Hurley.
Are you sure our week is long enough, Iris? Ha 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 ha! Even amidst the most troubling of cases, even reeling from the most shocking of revelations, returning in the evening to this suite of rooms, there's always warmth and happiness to be had. The home of the world's greatest detective, and my home too, with my greatest family. This attic room has been my home and office for almost a year now. I've certainly had some unforgettable experiences whilst I lived here. But I think now, the time has come. Time to bid this place farewell.
Naruto.
Oh, Professor.
Are you alone? I didn't hear any sound from Susato's room.
Yes, no, bittersweet secrets. Yes, Susato-san went out after dinner. She took a carriage. Something about an important matter she needed to take care of.
Ah, I see. I wanted to thank you for what you did earlier.
Oh?
With Iris, I mean, when the subject of her father came up.
Lord Clint Van Zieks.
I made up my mind many years ago never to tell her who her real father was. It's what was agreed with Genshin after all.
Lord Clint Van Zieks' final wishes before he died, you mean?
Yes, I've had to take some rather drastic steps at times to protect that secret, you know. Calling Susato back to Japan 6 months ago, for example.
That's why.
When I read Soseki-san's report about his final days in London, my heart nearly stopped. You'd stumbled across the crux of that terrible case, the dog's collar. The description of the Baskerville insignia left me in no doubt.
Baskerville.
If you decided to investigate that insignia, sooner or later you'd have made the connection to the Van Zieks. And to make matters worse, Susato knew of the unpublished story as well. The story that Iris had written based upon my notes from the time.
Ah, yes, the Hound of the Baskervilles.
Exactly. It was a work of fiction, but based on the grim reality of a huge beast of a dog being used as a murder weapon. A dog with the Baskerville family emblem around its neck. Armed with those two clues, I feared you and Susato might arrive at the truth. So I made that story about having collapsed to justify her leaving London and returning to Japan at once. All in the aid of halting any investigations you and she might have been contemplating.
I see. Something I've never understood is why Susato-san came across that manuscript in Japan, though. You know, Iris's The Hounds of Baskerville story, I mean?
Sholmes sent it to me. That was before Susato left Japan. He was very droll about what should be done about it, you see. I'd read it and carelessly left it on my desk, which is where Susato came across it, of course.
Ah.
It was the only case Sholmes and I ever pursued that I didn't record in meticulous detail. I was stunned when I discovered that young Iris had pieced together so much of it from my paltry notes. Sholmes and I discussed the matter and decided that we couldn't allow the story's publication. At that point, I returned the manuscript by post to Sholmes for safekeeping.
So you did all that to stop Iris from finding out the truth about her father?
That's right, because Sholmes had told me how astute she'd become. She was a monster. She was extorting the police and had higher intentions. If she found out about her noble lineage, who knows what she would have done? It would have been a dark age. However, having witnessed events in court today, I must say my opinion has somewhat shifted.
Oh?
I think at some point in the future, the time will come for Iris to know the truth. And when it does, well, I believe it will be for the best.
I think so too. Actually, Professor, I wanted to talk to you about something too.
Judging from that expression, I'd say you've come to a decision, have you? Will you make what will it be, Mr. Rin? What will it be, Naruto? Will you pick the right decision? Or will you pick the one that will disappoint me, which is staying here?
Yes, I have. I will be returning with you to Japan.
Are you quite sure?
I'm really only here as a substitute for Kazuma. But he's here in Britain now, as originally intended. Locum student Naruto doesn't really have a right to stay, I think.
I see.
Looking back now, when I first arrived here in February, my becoming a lawyer just seemed to be the way things turned out. With Kazuma, Susato-san, and Mr. Sholmes all gently pushing me in that direction. I spent the best part of a year immersed in this world, but always aware of a seed of doubt inside me. Until today. Standing in that courtroom earlier, all doubts vanished from my mind. I was totally focused. I was sure of my belief in my client, and I was sure I could see the trial through. And at the end of it, I finally realized no one else chose this path for me. I chose it myself.
The path of a defense lawyer, eh?
Yes, that's what I am now. That's what I will be going back with you to Japan as. And that's the path I'll be following for the rest of my life.
Well, it sounds like you've made quite a resolution there.
I have.
Very well then. I must say it's extremely welcoming news. You haven't disappointed me. You get to live another day. I shall make arrangements for your return first thing tomorrow, but I don't imagine we'll depart for a few days.
Not with the symposium having been canceled now. Such a shame.
Never mind. I'm sure there'll be other opportunities in the future. Well, then, I'll bid you a good night.
Susato-san! I just wanted to let you know I'm back. Did you, hear what your father and I were discussing? I'm sorry, I did, yes. I couldn't help but... Oh, how much did you hear? Well, from the part about Iris' real father, I think. In other words, from the beginning. So you've made up your mind. You'll return to Japan and continue working as a defense lawyer. Ah, yes, I'm sorry. I really should have consulted you about it. I did want to earlier this evening, actually, but you'd already gone out. Oh no, that's quite all right. I already knew it's what you decided, Mr. Naruto-san. You did? Susato-san? Let me say for the moment. Yes? I suppose this means it has to be farewell soon. I suppose. You'll be a great help to Kazuma going forward. I mean, I know he's a brilliant lawyer, but he's new to the British courtroom. He'll certainly benefit greatly having a brilliant judicial assistant at his side. I'll do my very best. I wish I could say it, but I just can't. I can't ask her to come with me. After all, she was always supposed to be coming to Britain as Kazuma's assistant. It's growing late. We should both try to get some sleep. I'm sure you must be exhausted after today. Oh, yes. You're right. Before I retire, let me just say one more thing. You really were quite splendid in court today. So if you ask me, anyone who thinks of you as a substitute or a locum should be ashamed of themselves. Susato-san. Shame, Soseki-san! And then basically Susato just yeets Soseki out of the window. Ah! Thank you. November, 5:42 a.m. Port of Dover. Quite sad. We always have to end the game off at the Port of Dover. I can't believe this day's finally come.
You're really leaving then, Ryuno?
I'm afraid so, Iris. Thank you so much for everything.
In that case, you mind turning around?
Yeah, sure, Iris. Why you... Ugh! And then basically Ryuunosuke wakes up. He's chained to a radiator in Sherlock's suite. He's chained to the analytoscope. Iris, what have you done?
You can't leave, Ryuno. You just can't.
I don't know what I'll do without your wonderful cooking and delicious tea.
Oh, I wish you weren't going. But you have to come back and visit. Say you will.
Of course, I promise.
Well, it was a very brief reunion, but it was a pleasure to pursue a gaze with you again after so long. For a while, at least, it felt like old times.
Yes, I suppose on reflection, there's something to be said for it. Having a little fun once in a while.
I'm just going to say goodbye to the professor as well, I think.
And then Iris just pops a cap right in Nugent and just blasts him into the water.
Oh no, now Mickey's dead.
All right, Iris, you do that.
佐々田さん。After just checked, Naruhodo-san. Your luggage is already on board. Such a beautiful morning. Perfect for embarking on a journey, isn't it?
Before I set off, I'd just like to say how thankful I am for everything you've done for me. And give my warmest regards to Kazuma, please.
Actually, I think you ought to give him your regards in person, don't you?
Sorry?
Ryuunosuke,
Kazuma! What are you doing here?
do you really think I'd miss my best friend's departure?
Thanks. To be honest, I'd been looking forward to our wild time tearing up the streets of Her Majesty's capital. But,
Well, we'll have to save that for another time. Personally, I'm looking forward to facing you in court again.
me too. But, we're both defense lawyers, so,
I'm going to become a prosecutor. I'll stay in Lord Van Zieks' tutelage for the time being, but before long...
And then basically, Van Zieks learns that Ryuunosuke is like, no! No! You can't leave my hut, Nibu. He's like, what are you talking about? You were saying how much you wanted me to go. That wasn't for it all. I need you! I am used to you! I can't go back to new people. I can't have new people! And then basically Van Zieks goes in, and then Barok goes insane. And basically he then starts making Kazuma dress up like Ryuunosuke, having the same hairstyle, having the same outfit. Hello, my Lord Nibu's friend. Have you come across any new conclusions? This is disturbing. This is disturbing, Lord Van Zieks. This is disturbing, Lord Van Zieks. You need help. No, I don't need help, my Lord Nibu's friend. Mr. Naruto, don't leave me, please. You're starting to get clingy. Please, you're kind of gripping me a little tightly. You can't leave. You are staying here forever. And then basically Kazuma then gets chained to the radiator. Everyone has a radiator that they're going to change.
As the Reaper himself.
Yeah, sorry about that. Sorry, I'm just so used to basically being able to just transition into these sort of things.
oh, I see.
Actually, Ryuunosuke, I have a favor to ask.
Name it.
I'd like you to take care of this for me for a while.
Karuma? Why?
Because I've seen it now. I've seen what's inside me. The demon that reared its ugly head that day. It was only for the briefest of moments. The last time I came face to face with that inspector.
Yeah, just have the piss off breaks, bro. Oh, I'm done with this. This is my last appearance in the game. I'm pissed off. I'm gonna go about right now. I'm gonna talk about how relationship has abused me and how I'm done with it.
But it was unmistakable. I wanted to kill him. I've always known there are demons that live inside people. And now I know there is one in me. The fact that it very nearly consumed me is something I'll carry with me until the end of my days, while I devote my life to fighting those whose demons have got the better of them. As a prosecutor.
So, that's what you've resolved to do, is it?
Until I'm ready to face the demon within me, to slay it once and for all. I leave this in your care. If you'll take it.
Of course I will. I'll keep it by my side. Always. Until we meet again, then. You have your path to follow, and I have mine.
Yeah, and then basically 100 years later, Karuma is basically just lodged in some back corner of Phoenix's broom closet, behind a bunch of Trucy's magic props.
Naruhodo-san? The path you're going to follow from now on, I wonder if I might follow it at your side, and unless I'd be a burden.
What? I mean, would very much like you to come with me. But aren't you...
You're so predictable, Ryuunosuke.
I am?
Honestly, you never change at all. But that's what I like about you.
You mean you knew about this?
It was the evening after Lord Van Zieks' trial came to an end. She came to see me at the prosecutor's office.
Really? Oh, when I had that conversation with Professor Mikotoba.
So, you'd go with Ryuunosuke back to Japan?
Yes. I know it's unfair of me to follow my own interests like this.
Coming here especially to tell me. You're a stickler for etiquette, aren't you? Well, what are his feelings?
We've never discussed it, of course, and Naruhodo-san has made no such suggestion. I worry that perhaps I'd be a burden to him.
He's just as much of a stickler for etiquette as you are. He'd never say anything before he was asked.
That Ryuunosuke just doesn't want to be bugged about his desk being clean.
But I'd feel happy knowing you were with him. Look out for him on my behalf, will you?
Of course.
Susato-san.
What do you think, Naruhodo-san?
With you by my side, no trial would seem too daunting. So if you're willing, I'd be honored if you'd come with me. Together we can take on the world.
I'm terribly incompetent, but if you'll have me, I'd be delighted.
Oh, no, not at all. If anyone's terribly incompetent, it's me. Ah!
What's wrong?
Your luggage, Susato-san. There's no time. The ship's going to set sail any minute now.
It's all right. There's no need to worry. As it happens, my luggage is already on board too.
It is?
Your fine judicial assistant has everything in hand as always, I see.
Bruno! Your ship's about to leave!
Time to go then. Look after yourself, Ryuunosuke.
Kazuma, draw your sword. One day, when our paths cross, once more, we'll fight a duel of words across the courtroom. A day I eagerly await as a lawyer.
I've been waiting to hear you say that, partner.
Don't forget me then, Kazuma.
As if I could, Ryuunosuke.
And Mr. Sholmes, thank you so much. I'm very much indebted to you.
Indeed, Mr. Naruhodo. I believe you are.
I'll never forget all you've done for me during my time in London.
Quite. I should like to think you will remember your debt of gratitude. Especially when I visit you in your country. What? The truth is, although many are ignorant of the fact, the world is far smaller than most folk realize.
Well, I'd be delighted if you came to Japan one day.
Oh yes! Would welcome you with open arms, Mr. Sholmes.
Yeah, meanwhile, Hosonaga, he's basically going at the dock. Oh, no. You are not coming here. No, there's only room for one ace detective here. And that position belongs to me. Mr. Turtle, strike him down! And then basically Hosonaga just throws Mr. Turtle, taking Sherlock down, just beams Sherlock right in the head with Mr. Turtle.
Oh, that's
In that case, let us conclude that this is to be merely a brief parting, my dear fellows.
And that brings us to the end of my adventures in Great Britain. A peculiar twist of fate brought me halfway around the world those many months ago. But that was just the start of my journey. Who knows where fate will lead me next? Still, I'm confident this won't be my last meeting with the friends I've made in London. And when we're together again, no doubt the first words I'll hear will be,
Come, the game is afoot.
Yeah, no objection. Okay, anyway.
The ship, with our friends from the east, sailed steadily towards the distant horizon. But Sholmes' face was alight with joy. The times may change, but a steadfast friendship will remain true, Wilson. We have but to gently close our eyes, and we are with our companions once more.
So I do just that. And when I do, I can hear his strong, familiar voice ring out.
Objection!
Okay.
Until we meet again, Ryuno.
Okay, can I now do my end series, my end discussion? Okay. Are the credits gonna start? Or are we getting no credits? Okay, credits time. Okay. Anyways, this playthrough was really something. I actually did not anticipate it to be this long. I'll do it after this. I've been thoroughly inundated with inquiries about my thing. I don't know. I'm a purveyor of electronic goods, and one of the problem is close code secrecy. Anyways, I decided an absence from London is in order. A sojourn to different climes. Even Japan, perhaps. I understand that wardrobe glass incurs no charge whatsoever. Iris, I'm smuggling you in the wardrobe. I'm not paying for 2 tickets, Iris. We have to escape our rent issues.
I gave it to Hurley the other day. It just said, thank you for everything, Daddy, but it made Hurley cry. And I gave him some notes I made as well to die his safety, and he cried. But he says that it might make you cry too, so he'd rather not use it.
I swear, just the Iris voice has been just one of my greatest fights. It's essentially the Maya voice of the Greatest Attorney series. In those days when I was known as the Reaper, I felt your presence at my side. Once unable to bear the burden of that grim suited him, I even retired from the courtroom. Despite everything, I still wear your prosecutor's badge with pride. But the darkness that once beset me is no more, and as you too are no more. In the words of a young foreign friend of mine, I will stride forward towards a brighter future. The boss left a note for me, you know, and I can read it every letter now, A to Z, the whole lot. It's clear that load of stuff up. The boss was trying to protect me, see? And that's exactly what me and Chief Inspector Toby are here going to do, keep you for Londoners. Yeah, the note reading. So don't deal with her ladyship. Any deal with her is a Faustian deal. I only wish I could say how grateful I was about. Okay, I could not read that. Grayson's P.S. Do not ever let her ladyship put you in the event of Herlock Sholmes. Do not let it happen. That happens, you're in her debt and you will never escape. Gina, the truth is, I'm not the upset fairy you think I am. I'm manipulating a 10-year-old girl. You might be a diamond art, but it's a good art. You reminded me that I need to be true to myself. You get away from her ladyship. She scares me. I've got one more job for you to get before it starts on to London time for the foreseeable future. And then I've got to complete your education in the art deduction a la Greg's son, as they say. Well, I'm gonna have to change our names. We gotta let her ladyship find us.
Your Excellency, this man is accused of illegal entry into the office of the Minister of Foreign Affairs.
Objection! A blink I was saying overruled! The vessel has been detained and bring anyways!
Who is this catfish counsel for the defense and women are permitted into the courtroom?
Oh, really? My friend Susato-san is in the British courtroom all the time and doing a wonderful job. Perhaps I should have engaged the services of a regular legal team. And now I got the crap beat out of me. Oh, yeah, yes, that's the fun of it. I get the crap beat out of me. I get no credit once. I get barely a nod. And meanwhile, Sherlock Holmes, he makes a few odd claims and he's a hero to the country. Mama, is it true about Japanese people? Are they experts in filleting corpses? Yes, they are. Fish corpses on the whole. I like to own my own filleting skills. You don't mind, do you, Mama? Yes, I do. I'm not a corpse yet, am I? No. And I'm glad. Here I am again, bring on the invitation of my dear old university friend. He sent me to a very nice letter saying that he'd like to show me around now that everything was settled. But what have I done? I was so excited I picked the Splendid Hotel, and now I can't afford the bill. I'm gonna have to blow it up now. Oh, Barok, come to my rescue again, please. I wish I could just vanish into thin air sometimes. I'm gonna have to use the bite bomb on the hotel. Oh, but you blew up the hotel. I couldn't afford the bill, Barok. I'm sorry, I can't go back to jail. I can't be fiddled and diddled in my cell again. When I was to make the work with commercial on the Galani Cemetery, I realized what had happened. But even the witness stand that the eyes got in the land, I could never speak of it. The Lord Chief Justice and I had such a bargain, you see. For a faithful reproduction of the visage, there is nothing we two spells would not do. We would kill you for one. Everyone calls me gossip. I sell jaunty little tidbits about suppliers, you know.
Everyone calls me a pepino. I sell it the spaghetti. It's a boiler right in my head.
Everyone, they call me. No, I cannot do it. This is ridiculous. Yes, trap vigil in the cell with his captors.
Oh, Dylan, how charming. You've made lots of new friends here, I see. Help me. They do things to me in my sleep. They touch me inappropriately. Yes, when I'm released, we're gonna strike it rich together.
Yeah, he's developed Stockholm Syndrome. Yeah, don't drop the soap, Daily. When I was accepted on the foreign study tour, I knew exactly what path I had to take. And however it might have ended, I knew that I wanted you there to see it. If I had ended up in the dock, there's no one I would have rather had defending me. But now, thanks to you, there's a new path I want to take. I'm sure we'll meet again in the courtroom, my friend. Until then, I leave Garuma in your care.
I made some tea, Naruto-san. It's important that you rest whilst you can. Once you arrive in Japan, you shall be busy yourselves in your new office. I'm so delighted to be accompanying you. After all, your talents have been recognized by a great detective. Because you really are the greatest of lawyers. A great ace attorney, some might say.
Yes, they finally filled up the Daruma's other eye. They completed the circle. Okay, anyways, I think this is the final credit. So basically, I'm going to say my end speech now. Anyways, this project was something else. I, honestly enough, was not anticipating the game being this long when I started it. I thought it was going to be around the same length as the first Greatest Attorney game. Though, basically, I have to say, while this game was certainly longer, it was a whole lot more exciting. I really like this game. And it stands up as one of my it's definitely in my top 3, basically. I would have to say, yeah, this one is definitely number 2 on my list, with basically Ace Attorney Investigations 2 being my all-time favorite game in the series, just because that game just also has plenty of twists as well. Not to mention, basically, it's the Ace Attorney Investigations 2. I like the cases. I like the flow of the story. Anyways, this was a whole lot of fun for me to do. I enjoyed every step of the way. Just lots of twists, lots of turns, and just suffice to say, this Let's Play was also one that, funnily enough, just stood out in that it was the longest I've done for quite some time. Yes, love that umbrella poke. Basically, and so instead of doing the robot, okay, back to what I was saying. Basically, for the past several Let's Plays, I was doing relatively shorter projects. Basically, nothing that was really going over 27 episodes. So when I got to this one, it was definitely a change of pace. It was definitely a welcome change of pace, and that just getting to something much longer. And speaking of lengths, fun fact is that I've just checked the episode count, and according from what I'm seeing, this is my second longest Let's Play in terms of main episodes, with only Danganronpa V3 being ahead of this one by about 6 episodes. So yeah, this Let's Play is definitely going to hold a special place in my heart. And basically, yeah, though my next project is definitely going to be a much shorter game. It's going to basically be a PC game. It's going to be going back to RPGs, so it's still going to be voicing and the like. It's still going to be the general thing of just dialogue boxes and the like. And yeah, do the chicken, Peppino. Do the chicken. But his head is so thick. I'm pretty sure it's as thick as Iris's body. Yes, we have Chief Inspector Toby. And you just doing his dad dancing. But yeah, sorry I don't really have much more of a speech plan. Basically, I just said my piece, and that's that. Though this Let's Play isn't quite over just yet, we are still going to have one last episode in which we cover the bonus material in the main menu. Basically, in the special content section. So, let's just wait for this to be finished, and then once we get back to the main menu, we can end things off, and then basically from there, we'll do the bonus episode. So yeah, just gotta wait for the walk. Yeah, Sherlock, I love how Sherlock is just trailing behind. He's not even on camera at this point. Yeah, Sherlock's now just racing ahead. Sherlock was just preparing himself. One last clash of swords. Yeah, I love how they kept the detail of Kuruma not having the tip of its blade, even in the credits. Pretty good eye for detail. Okay, let's wait for that done screen. Capcom. More walking.
And here we are, back at the title screen. The Grace Attorney 2 Resolve. Finn. Okay, this actually may be the screenshot for this episode. That are basically the clashing of swords, basically. I have to pick which one. Okay, anyways, I think now would be a good time to end things off. Anyways, I really appreciate that you stuck around to watch this episode. You're a great viewer, and I hope you come back. It's been so long since I ended up series off. Anyways, I really appreciate that you stuck around to watch this project. You're a great viewer, and I hope you come back for the next one. The first episode of which will be posted on the date outlined in the description of this episode. And anyways, I also really appreciate that you stuck around to watch this video. You're a great viewer, and I hope you come back for the next... I forgot my outro! Okay, anyways, I really appreciate that you stuck around to watch this episode. You're a great viewer, and I hope you come back for the next playthrough. If you like the video, like, subscribe, comment, share, do whatever you want. With that, I'll see you at the start of my next playthrough. The first episode, which will be uploaded on the date listed in the description of this episode. And with that, I'll see you in the next episode for the bonus episode / video. And with that, I'll see you next time. Bye.